We have already used the dynamic programming to solve the block problem we have already seen previously. But the problem is that block problem is that this block problem cannot be used for bioinformatics problems, and it's not related to any of the biological problems. So the block problem and the algorithm that is very popular, and it uses the sequence similarity search to search the specific motifs within the DNA. So understanding the sequence comparison algorithm, the dynamic problem is used, and the dynamic problem basically provides a framework to understand the DNA comparisons, and these DNA comparisons are used by various biologists to find the possible functions of the unknown genes and to find the evolutionary history of these genes. So here we can see the graphic representation of any of the biological problem that will be solved by using the dynamic programming. For example, we assume that this block is a problem and we have to find the solution of that problem. And we know that dynamic problem basically works by using divide and conquer phenomena. So it means that first it will divide that problem into smaller sub-problems, as we have seen in the second block. So this main block is divided into 6 further smaller blocks. So it means that if we want to solve the solution of that block, we can solve the solution by finding the sub-solutions of each of the subdivided blocks. So it will be much easier to find the solution of that block as compared to the whole full block. And again, the interesting phenomena of the dynamic problem is that if there is a problem within this block and that problem is identical in the next block and so on, so this dynamic programming algorithm will find the solution of the first problem within that block, and it will not repeat the same procedure to find the similar problem in the second block. Rather, it will find the answer of the first block, and despite repeating the same problem in the second block, it will use the answer of the first block and will proceed further. And similarly, it will not proceed this problem, but it will take the answer from the first block and it will proceed further until there is no further such problems. So it will save the time. And on the other hand, there are many algorithms that use the same technique, but they repeat the problem again and again because their problem is the same. So by repeating the problem again and again, it will take a lot of time. So after dividing into small parts and not to repeat the same problem again and again, we will find the solution of every of this block separately, and then it will compile the results because it will find the solution of each of the 6 blocks, and after finding the solution of each of the 6 blocks, it will then compile the solutions one by one. For example, by compiling these 2 solutions, it will come up with a larger solution, and then it will compile the result of 3 and 4 blocks, and then it will come up with the bit larger solution, and similarly with 5 and 6. So after compiling the solutions of block number 1 to 6, it come up with only 3 blocks, 1, 2 and 3. And similarly, it will again compile the solutions of the bigger blocks 1 and 2 and come up with a larger solution, and similarly here. And lastly, it will combine the results of all of the blocks, and we will find the solution of the block that is much larger. So by dividing the problem into smaller subproblems, and then after finding the solutions of that subproblems, this algorithm will compile the smaller solutions and come up with the single one solution of that problem.